If we look at your origin story, what is that moment that you went, right, this is what I'm going to do with my life?
I don't think I ever had a moment like that. In fact, I still sometimes wonder what I'm going to do when I grow up.
That's great.
Honestly.
I love that.
And I'm endlessly fascinated in
Yeah.
things. But there's a different kind of moment, which was a moment of realisation of perhaps why I was doing what I did, rather than necessarily a conscious choice like I am going to be a philosopher. But I was visiting an aunt of mine, a great aunt, who was a nun, a Catholic nun. And I was at a convent where she was living at that time, and she'd been very distinguished within her order. And I must have been in my mid to late 30s, and I was at the ethics centre, and she was saying, I'll have something to show you. So she disappeared into the convent and came back and said, you should read this. And it was a letter that had been written by my mother to her sister back on the day that she'd just returned from the doctor, who told her if she proceeded with a fourth pregnancy, she would die. And the child would probably die too. And so my mother writes to her sister and says, look, I've just been told this devastating news, but as a very devout Roman Catholic, as she was, I believe that this child must be born so that it can be baptised, so it can avoid being placed into limbo. Because back in those days, we're talking about the early 60s, Catholics still believed in limbo, which was an indeterminate state that children and others, anyone who hadn't been baptised but was innocent would go into. She says, I know that this will bring about the end of my life. I have a husband I love. I have 3 children I love. But there's no one I can talk to about this. And then at the end of the letter, she describes me standing by her, at that time probably 5 years old, and I'm colouring in or doing something. I remember I used to have journals. I'd scribble things. I'd sign and act as if I was writing. It was just it was on a page.
Yeah.
But I realised as I'm reading this letter that what I have helped to create is a place where she could come today. If she had this ethical dilemma, now there was the Ethics Centre, which offers what is still the world's only free national service for people. Anybody, irrespective of means, can come to discuss the ethical challenges they face. What happened was that she had the baby, and a year and a day later she died, but the child lived.